everybody on YouTube? It's your boy, the MFS XLR8, coming at you with the deck profile for Defense OTK 2020. This is a very old concept of a deck that's gotten a whole bunch of new cards to support it. The idea of this deck I will explain, but first, let's go over the cards. For our monster lineup, we run 3 Grand Maju Daiza, triple Defender, triple Stronghold Guardian, triple Stone Statue of Aztecs. Those are the only monsters we shall need. We have 1 Cardo Demise, double Pot of Desires, triple Pot of Duality, 1 Reinforcement of Army, and a bunch of traps. We got triple Feedback, triple D2 Shield, triple Rise to Full Height, double Lost Wind. That's a double. And there's a double Titanicide. We got Battle Mania at 2. We got Cross Counter at 3. Reckless Greed at 3. Extra deck, not too relevant, but we'll play triple Cowboy, triple Utopia, triple Prime, triple Utopia Lightning, and just Negalogia, double A Zeus at 3. Side deck we'll go over in a bit. So the idea of this deck is very, very straightforward. The idea is you put up a monster with big old defense points, set up a couple of trap cards, and then we wait. We wait for our opponent to make their move. We're trying to lure them into this false sense of security, have them attack us, and our monsters are big. Our monsters have big booty, 2,700 defense, 2,000 defense, based on what's banished, but if you're banishing, you'll have 4,000 plus defense. So, the idea is your opponent runs into our monsters, and we have a whole bunch of cards that boost our monsters' defense, like D2 Shield, Rise to Full Height. These both double the defense of a monster. D2 Shield is a permanent stat boost of double. Rise to Full Height is a 1-turn sort of doubling, but these work very well in conjunction with one another, especially we can combine them with Stone Statue. He is the crux of this deck, Stone Statue of Aztecs, because he has the inherent effect of doubling battle damage the opponent takes when they battle into this card. In fact, this card is old. This card's very old. This was part of the first rock structure deck forever ago. I think it was 15 something years ago. I forget exactly how long it was. But yeah, this guy's old, but people don't remember him. They don't remember what he does. And this deck, it really gets around a lot of modern playing, a lot of modern things, because people expect lots of monster effects, lots of things that need to be negated. The only thing that people can negate in here is the traps and such. So, monster effect, if they're here to negate monster effects, they're not going to have a fun time, because we have no monster effects except for Stronghold that can really be negated that way. So, like I said, the idea, set up a monster like Stone Statue, and we boost up his defense with D2 Shield, double him to 4,000. If you combine it with Rise to Full Height, it becomes 8,000. And if your opponent's playing anything smaller than, I don't know, an 8,000 beat stick, they're going to be taking a heck of a lot of damage. Not quite 8,000, you know what I mean. If they're running, like Blue Eyes White Dragon, sort of example, 3,000 attack, they're dead. They're going to take all the damage, and they're going to lose right there. So this deck is just all set around doing that. We have some other things too, and I'll explain those as well. Got Cross Counter. This is a very nice little trap card that doubles the amount of damage your opponent takes if they battle a monster with higher defense. Basically, this card turns Defender and Grand Maju into Stone Statue of the Aztecs. So it's a very nice thing. It also destroys the monsters that battle if their monsters are weaker than your defensive monster, which is nice, but it's completely irrelevant there. We also got, of course, Reckless Greed for extra draw power, drawing into Strongholds, very nice. You can ditch this card to make a monster gain 1,500 defense till the end phase. So, the more cards like this that you've got, the bigger your monster becomes. But, to make it even better, this deck also has methods of making your opponent's monsters smaller. Lost Wind and Titanicider, very good. Lost Wind works on any special summon monster, negates its effects, halves its attack points. So then they take more damage. Even better, Titanicider reduces a monster's attack to 0. However, it only works on monsters summoned from the extra deck. So, depending on what you're up against, you can run 3 Lost Wind or 3 Titanicider. Either one works just fine. You also got Battle Mania. If your opponent, for whatever reason, figures out what you're doing, or, for example, they summon a bunch of tokens or something, you can play this card during the standby phase, All the monsters they have are put in attack mode. They have to attack you with everything they've got. It's a very nasty card. Basically, just forces your opponent to have their little monsters attack your big monsters. It's very, very good indeed. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit more about, well, here's talk about our draw power. Card of Demise, pretty simple. We don't do damage during our turn. We do it during the opponent's turn. So if you have nothing in your hand or have like one card in your hand, this card lets you draw a bunch of cards. Then you ditch your hand. But we get into the cards we need, and we don't need to worry about not doing damage. Pot of Desires, straightforward. Banish 10 cards, draw 2 cards. You might say it's a neg-9, but guess what? Makes Grand Maju a 4K beat stick right off the bat. Pot of Duality, again, self-explanatory. Flip 3 cards, add 1 to hand, the others back into the deck. You can't special summon, but we almost never special summon. So again, it doesn't hurt us. And Reinforcement gets either one of these, so pretty good there. So let's talk lastly about Feedback. This is a nice little trap card that honestly I wish I could play 5 of. I would play 5 of this in this deck if I could. Basically, you banish as many cards from your extra deck as you want and banish the same number of cards from your opponent's extra deck face up. And then during the end phase, they get them back. So the idea of this card is actually very, very simple. You set this card, and if you can, Grand Maju as well. Then your opponent starts going to their combos. They summon one big thing from the extra deck or a small thing, combo starter, whatever. Flip this up, banish your extra deck, banish theirs. Therefore, they can't go into their bigger combos, can't summon their big monsters that might hurt you. And that way, your opponent, they get a little frustrated. You got to get in their head a little bit. You got to screw with them just a little bit. And then they go ahead and attack you, and that's when you spring your big booty surprise on them. Because that's what this deck's called, Big Booty Boy. And that's what we do. We do big booty. So that's basically the idea of this deck. You're just trying to set up big defensive monster and hit our opponents. Now, on occasion that you can get 2 level 4s and actually do Xyz plays, Gaga Cowboy for game, if they happen to avoid getting OTK'd. Utopia, just for, you know, going into lightning and beating over things. And Negalogia, just in case you want to, like, blanket nuke the field. It's just there just to have some placement. You don't really need an extra deck at all, except for, you know, using it with feedback. So, honestly, you can put whatever the heck you want in the extra deck. Doesn't really matter. Really quick, we'll go over the side deck, and then I'm going to show off some replays of this deck in action. First off, we got Canyon, which is a field spell that if your rock monster in defense is attack, your opponent takes double damage, so you double the double. At least I'm pretty sure. I didn't actually test that part, but I'm pretty sure that's how it should work. We also got Ojama Trio. Give your opponent tokens so that you can combo that with Battle Mania. It's a risky maneuver in case they, you know, have Link monsters, but if your opponent's not playing Link monsters, then it can work. We also, of course, have another Pot of Desires if you feel like banishing every more. Eater of Millions in case you feel like being a little more offensive with this deck, or just banishing more things to make Grand Maju bigger, either way. Magic Cylinder I used to have in this deck just to, you know, mess with my opponent a little bit more. It's not really an ideal thing, but if you want to just put a copy or two in here and just do some battle or some burn damage to your opponent, stop their attacks, go right ahead. Oh, pardon me. But yes, we also got the Ring of Destruction. Destroy a face-up monster of our opponents. Deal damage to the opponent, so long as it's not more than how many life points they have left. If your opponent's summoning something problematic, then get rid of it. So that's the idea of Ring of Destruction. So anyway, guys, that is my deck profile for the defensive OTK. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with some replays. Very nice, really quick replays of very nice OTKs and the like. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, before you go watch those, don't forget to subscribe, because I would appreciate it very much if you enjoyed this video, if you'd hit that little subscribe button. But regardless of that, thank you for watching, and I will now leave you with some very nice replays. Thank you for watching.